Okay, the court calls our next case of the day. This is the Department of Family and Protective Services versus Paige DeLong. This is cause number 24-2479 CVC. This case is pending here in Guadalupe County, Texas. Today's date is December 18th, 2024, and we're set today on the court's docket for a court-ordered services compliance hearing. This case being done today as a virtual hearing while I'm here at the courthouse here in Seguin. We can have announcements of the attorney, starting with the department, please.
Yes, Cecilia Howard on behalf of the department, we're ready.
Ms. Schulte.
Daniel Schulte, attorney for respondent mother, Ms. DeLong. I do not see her present.
Mr. Davis.
Shay Davis for the child, ready, Judge.
Okay, the court does note that we have representatives here from DeLong, as well as, I believe, current caregivers. Ms. Helron, who would you like to call as a witness?
I would like to call Alejandra Gonzalez.
Okay, Ms. Gonzalez, if you're ready, your right hand point, please, ma'am. Thank you. You swear the testimony you're going to provide in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Helron.
Ms. Gonzalez, you are the family-based worker for this case, is that correct?
Yes.
Let me start over. Can you please state your name for the record?
Alejandra Gonzalez.
Okay. And you are the family-based worker, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Can you please tell the court what services were ordered at the last hearing, which was October 8th?
The services that were ordered were parenting classes for her to complete a psychiatric evaluation, to complete an OSAR assessment, to follow with the safety plan, and allow access to Adrian.
And let's just go through the various services. Can you please explain how did she do in parenting? Is she engaged at all?
No, she didn't engage in parenting classes.
Did she complete a psychiatric?
No.
Did she complete a OSAR assessment?
No.
Has she engaged at all in any drug tests?
She completed 2 urine analysis.
And were any of them concerning?
Yes, we have one positive result and we're pending a result.
At this time, do you believe that she is in any compliance at this time?
No compliance at all.
Okay, so you're asking the court to find that she is not in compliance?
Yes.
Okay. What is your recommendation as far as the continuation of this case?
To dismiss, just because Ms. Page is not in compliance. It is very hard to get her engaged. I think it's mostly because of her mental health. That's just my main concern. She is not able to complete the services because of her mental health.
Do you believe that the child is in immediate danger at this time?
No, Adrian is very well taken care of by both his grandparents at all times. The concern is only for Paige whenever she is around Adrian.
Have you discussed with Mr. and Mrs. DeLong the option of potentially filing a private custody suit?
Yes, I have.
Are they open to that suggestion at this time?
They thought about it. It's just the financial, when it comes to it financially. But I did provide them information with the family helpline as well.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Mr. Schulte.
Just for clarification, you're asking the case to be dismissed today, and the department's not intending to refile for removal or something?
We are filing. We are looking to dismiss. As to a removal, I would have to stop with my supervisor about that and our attorney.
Okay. No further questions.
Mr. Davis.
Ms. Gonzalez, so you said you have no safety concerns at all for this child at this time?
Not at the moment, because he is taken care of by his grandparents. It's only when he is around with Paige, which is very minimal. But other than that, it's just her being around Adrian. But the grandparents are always there at the house as well.
And so is the idea that the grandparents can be around this child and Paige 24/7?
Ideally, not really. That's why we have a safety plan, but Adrian goes to daycare and then grandma picks him up and they're with him. They're at the house.
But when you remove this, when you dismiss this case, there is no safety plan at that time, right? And without a safety plan, you would agree that this child, there are
Yes,
safety
ma'am.
concerns, right?
Correct. Yes.
And mom could abscond with this child at any time, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Let's talk about mom's condition right now. Is what's the condition of mom? I don't see her today. Could you describe her condition?
I was trying to get a hold of her. She has the link, but she says she was having issues. She got into it, but then she got out of the Zoom link. Her condition is just her mental health. It's not allowing her to be able to do stuff by herself. She's not being able to take care of herself. I see her most of the time when I talk to her, it's through a door. She won't open the door to her room. It's just that communication from there. But it's very much back and forth. I never get anywhere with her.
Would you agree that she's regressing? She's not progressing. She's getting worse.
Yes, it's gotten a lot worse since the case started.
Okay. And again, I want to clarify, the department recognizes that these grandparents have no authority over this child without a safety plan.
Correct. Yes.
And the department recognizes without this safety plan, this child would be in immediate danger of this. Okay.
Mhm.
And the department has not staffed this yet, considering mom's lack of progress, considering her regression. The department has not staffed this for removal yet.
Not through FBSS. It was through investigations.
And has there been talks about staffing this for removal?
With my supervisor, yes.
That's all I have. I pass, Judge.
Ms. Helra.
Your Honor, I have no further questions. I would like to call Pamela DeLong as a witness.
Sure. Mr. Long, good morning, ma'am. If you'll raise your right hand for me, please. You swear the testimony you're going to provide in this case, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Helra.
Thank you. Ms. DeLong, could you please state your name for the record?
Pamela Denise DeLong.
And you are the maternal grandmother to the child, is that correct?
To Paige, yes. To the child?
To the child, you're the grandmother, your Paige's
grandmother,
mother.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Do you understand that without you and your husband that the child would be in immediate danger?
Yes.
Have you considered potentially filing something in court to request custody?
Well, if we can't get it done this way, through CPS or whatever, we would have to do that. We want him to be safe. We don't want him to go to foster care or anything like that. We have to do what we have to do.
Okay. And you understand that if the department does make the decision to remove the child, he could be placed in foster care.
I thought that Paige would have to be put out of the house and not him put in foster care. Because he needs to be protected. She has been given many chances and it would be put out. He would be kept here.
Okay. And do you, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because
you understand that the fact is even if he were to stay in your home, ma'am, he still would be under the custody of the department and not you and your husband.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So is that something you could discuss with your husband and maybe consider taking actions to protect your grandson?
Oh, well, yes, we want to do that. We don't want him to go into foster care.
Okay. And will you follow up with Ms. Gonzalez regarding that decision once you have the opportunity to discuss?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Mr. Schulte.
No questions, Judge.
Mr. Davis.
No questions, Judge.
Any other witnesses? Ms. Helra.
No, Your Honor. Just argument.
Mr. Schulte, any witnesses you wish to call?
No witnesses.
Mr. Davis, do you have a report and recommendation for the court today?
Yes, Judge. I mean, the child is doing fine solely based on the fact that the grandparents are there. Mom has threatened to leave with the child, could leave with the child at any time, and there's nothing that the grandparents can do. The department stated that at this point, this child's not in immediate danger because there's a safety plan in place. So essentially, when they remove the safety plan and dismiss this case, the department is allowing the child to then be in some sort of danger because at that point, there's no safety plan. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think the appropriate thing to do, considering mom's lack of progress, considering all the circumstances related to this case, considering the previous CPS history and the previous CPS case, would staff this for illegal removal and bring it in front of the court to determine whether, in fact, there are grounds to remove this child. Again, I have concerns for the child just based on the fact that the grandparents have no authority in this case and the threats that have been made by mom, the fact that mom is regressing, the fact that her drug issue continues to prevail. She continues to utilize drugs, not just marijuana, heavy drugs. The fact that she doesn't want her child in daycare and threatens to take the child out of daycare all the time. I get the department's position, and I've even talked to Mr. DeLong and Mrs. DeLong about the idea that they are probably going to have to try to file suit themselves. Obviously, they're not in a financial position to do so, but again, just based on the department's position, that they understand the danger that this child is in if they get out. So in essence, they get out, they recognize that they're putting this child in a dangerous situation or leaving this child in a dangerous situation. Just my thoughts, Judge.
Ms. Halron?
Your Honor, this is one of those gap cases. We attempted to do a court-ordered services case, and I understand the financial issues. However, this child is not in immediate danger right now. And I differ with Mr. Davis that it is the department's responsibility to seek removal in order to give custody to the maternal grandparents. Obviously, if this safety plan were removed and the mother were to take this child or do anything to exert her, custody, of course that child would be in immediate danger. But unfortunately, that child would have to be removed from the grandparents because the child is safe with the grandparents. I hate
Ms.
asking.
Halron, I'm not following. Hold on a minute. I'm not following that. So if this case is dismissed, the safety plan is no longer in effect, and Ms. DeLong, will say, goes and picks up Adrian from the grandparents who have no right to custody. I'm not tracking when you say that the child, Adrian, would have to be removed from the grandparents. Like you're saying the mother would have to remove him?
Well, I don't, Your Honor, what I mean removed, I mean, we would have to take custody of the child and they would not have custody. We would have custody. If the child was in danger, we would have to do a full home study. We would have to evaluate the home. And yes, mom would have to move out. But again, this creates a whole legal case. We believe it is more appropriate for a family, for a private family suit. It is something we have to consider before we remove. We have to explore all options before going to removal. And I understand this is a difficult case, but if the court is asking us to stop this for removal, then that's what we will do. But we do believe that the grandparents are protective and they do have legal options to file for custody.
Okay. I'm not telling you to do anything other than to protect children. That's it. But
Yes,
what
sir.
I will say is if this mother, Mr. Long, should go pick up Adrian in the event I dismiss this case, you cannot hold that against the grandparents because they had no right to custody.
Okay.
Adrian's not theirs. And so what I don't want to see the department do is say, well, you You let her take her son, which is completely within Ms. DeLong's rights. And so unfortunately, I've heard these cases before. I'll agree with you. These are potential, cases that fall in a gap, but they are also cases in which the department is not to punish a family member for not exerting rights over a child that they have no rights to.
Yes,
I mean, Adrian is only living with them because Ms. DeLong has allowed him to be there. Other than that,
Understood.
they have no rights to Adrian. So, I mean, asking them questions about him potentially going to foster care, that's just mean. I mean, because there's nothing to say that this is not the appropriate place for him. They just have no rights to him. But if she goes and picks him up this afternoon, that's wholly within her rights. Ms. DeLong can do whatever she wants with her son if I dismiss this case. Do you agree with that?
yes, sir.
I'm trying to get on my meeting, but you're already on it.
What's
I'm upstairs clicking the link trying to get on my meeting, but you're already on it.
I assume this is Ms. DeLong.
Yes, sir.
And Ms. DeLong?
Yes, Judge.
Good morning. Okay, why don't we see if we can get Ms. DeLong to call into the meeting?
She can call me back at the number she was calling me on.
Get the flashlight off the camera.
It's my camera phone. I want it to be known that I am here.
Sorry, Judge.
Can she sit in right with
No,
you
that's
guys?
not my computer. That's their computer.
Come sit down.
That's not my computer.
We'll move out of the way.
No, this isn't my house. This is your house. I'm on my phone. A perfectly good phone here. Look, my perfectly good phone. And
Well,
I'm calling and calling. And
so Ms. DeLong doesn't want to
no, I can't,
participate.
because y'all are sitting
That-
here just doing whatever you're doing. Could you please call me?
Who are you talking to?
Who are you talking to, Paige? Who you want to call you?
Can you reroute it to me? Can you call?
Come sit down.
Can
babe.
you get off my meeting so I can join?
We don't have to get off so you can join.
Yes,
you can
you
join.
do.
You have a link.
Yeah, I do have a link, but
Come
you're
sit
on it.
down. Come sit down.
I can't. Can you?
Sit. We'll move out of the way.
Yeah.
There you go. And see, you're gonna be right here.
See, no, because I'm
Sit
not
down.
doing your meeting. I'm doing mine.
Let him talk to you.
I'm not
Ms.
using your
DeLong.
computer. I'm using my computer.
Ms. DeLong, this is Judge Stuckey. Why don't you have a seat for us, ma'am?
Because I have my own separate link that Alejandro Gonzalez provided me with. Would you like
Okay, Ms. DeLong, this is Judge Stuckey. We're in your hearing. Why don't you have a seat?
my
and
meeting
talk
ID
to-
is 859-1070-1512.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you see other people on the screen? Who all do you see? I'll see me, the judge, or do you see other people?
Myself, Shay Davis, Cecilia Hellrung, Daniel Scholes, Alejandro Gonzalez,
Okay,
Stacy Sladen. Court.
okay. I just wanted to make sure you saw several people, Ms. DeLong. So good morning. I'm glad you're able to come and join us. Is there anything you'd like me to know today, Ms. DeLong?
No. I provided the paperwork to Miss Alejandra Gonzalez, but she didn't take it for some reason.
Have you been to Bluebonnet Trails or anywhere like that recently?
No, I haven't. Well, Lowell Ridge, yes, I want to press charges, bring them up because they left a muddy wristband around my arm, and they gave me a medication that I didn't need, like injectable medication that I didn't need.
Okay. Well, Mr. Long, how do you think you're doing over the last?
I think I'm
week
doing
or
really
two?
good. I think I'm doing really good. I just can't find a job because my social security card is completely just lying on me and it's not letting me in. It has me with the representative pay, like my parents, my representative pay, and I'm not doing anything. They didn't even give me a test or anything to need that. It's saying I'm all kinds of disabled and I'm not.
Okay. Mr. Long, where do you think Adrian should be living?
With me.
Okay. Is that your plan for him to live with you or live with your parents?
Yes, right now I don't have enough money because I really need a job really bad, you know, because I don't have a place for us to live. We're just, you know, with grandparents.
Okay. Where would you like Adrian to live, with you or your parents?
I don't have money to provide a place. So with my parents, of course.
Okay.
But I still need money I still need a job so I don't keep appearing in rooms like this. I can't just sit down and do nothing. I have a driver's license.
Okay, Mr. Long. Thank you for giving me the update. Sounds like you need to keep working on a few things. Do you agree with that?
Trying to find a job, finding a job. But how can I find a job though if nothing's open to me because I'm indigent and I don't have a vehicle?
Well, you just have to keep applying. You may need to walk somewhere to work.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Is
Long.
there any way,
Miss-
about my son going to well, never mind. But thank you. I don't have the money for this.
Okay, so Ms. Hillrung, obviously, y'all been able to hear Mr. Long and how she believes her current situation is, and
Right.
the department can make whatever decision they would like.
Yes, sir.
But okay. Mr. Davis, anything else before the court makes a decision today?
Well, Judge, I mean, the reality is what could happen is, and I think the point's been brought up, these grandparents shouldn't be punished, but really they should kick the mom out. Mom takes the child. She absconds with the child. They call CPS. CPS picks up the child. And hopefully the department would know that they weren't doing this to harm the child. But I mean, it's clearly evident that this mother is a threat to this child. So what do the grandparents have to do? Keep this child with them 24/7, sleep in the room with him, be around him 24/7. Anything can happen. She doesn't seem to be, in my eyes, in her right mind. So anytime that she's alone with this child, we have no idea what's going to happen. So how is he not in any immediate danger? I don't understand it, Judge. I don't think it's appropriate. I honestly don't think this case should be dismissed. I think that the department should really consider staffing this for removal.
Okay. Ms. Hillrung, anything else from the department?
Your Honor, we will staff it. That's all we can do. And, you know, but at this time, if the court feels it's safer to keep the case open and set this for another hearing while we staff, we have no objection.
Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. DeLong, I guess the way to describe this to you in a way that maybe you'll understand it better is I think the department's belief is that they don't have enough to remove at this point based upon Adrian being with you. And so I think as this case moves forward, you're going to have to make a decision about who you want to live with you, whether you want Adrian to live with you or the mother, Miss Paige DeLong, to live with you. I don't think that both people are going to be able to live with you. And other than, you know, kind of reading between the lines and basically saying everybody just wants you to almost debate a trap where, you know, Paige would potentially leave with Adrian. And if she did that, maybe, you know, he's in danger, maybe he's not in danger. But that's kind of a cruel way of looking at the case. But you're going to have to make a decision, no matter whether it's in a CPS case or in a private case. You potentially are going to have to choose between who's going to reside with you, Paige or Adrian, because there's not a lot of scenarios where both of them are probably going to be living with you. And in a CPS case, I can tell you, even as a court, you know, if this case rises to the level of a removal, if I was to place Adrian or allow him to stay with you, his mother is not going to be in that home. That'd be a choice that I would make you make. You'd be forced to make that in a removal type case. And these are hard decisions, hard things to think about, but you know, without adding too much stress to you, that's just the way these cases go. And you know, grandparents don't like to be put in a situation where they, pick between a parent and a grandchild, but unfortunately, that's just the way some of these cases go sometimes. So think about that. And you do have a right to file a private case. But as far as a case in which conservatorship could be determined by this court, it would take a different kind of case that we're not in right now. This case is solely about services. The department believes they've executed, efforts to engage her, and that Paige is just not engaged in services. I cannot change the conservatorship or placement inside this particular case. This would have to be a conservatorship case, which means the department would have to believe that Adrian's in danger, file a separate case. This court would have to make findings, and then we would deal with placement, whether that be with you or with somebody else. But again, as well as I believe Adrian's been doing with you, in that case, it is very unlikely that I would allow Adrian to stay with you as well as your daughter to resign your home. So you would be forced to make a decision at that point. So think about all these things. Talk to Ms. Gonzalez as well as her supervisor, Mr. Baca, and we'll see how this goes. So at this time, the court is going to keep this case open. I'm going to go ahead and set us for another compliance hearing on February 13th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. Again, February 13th at 1:30. Maybe the family and the department can find a resolution to keep Adrian safe between now and then. Any
Yes, sir.
questions?
Judge, can you even order a mediation in this case or staffing? I mean, maybe we could just do something. I don't know how Cecilia feels about it, if we can accomplish. Daniel would have to talk to his client. I don't know, but.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. Could I order a mediation or a family team meeting? Yes, I can. Do I have authority to enter conservatorship orders or anything like that in this case? I don't. So
Do we have an agreement, Judge?
Well, even with an agreement, this is not a conservatorship case.
Okay.
And so we have worked occasionally in some other counties where they've taken, a temporary order in a case like this and then moved it, to district court. Somebody filed like a pro se action or something and moved it. But that's not the department's case unless they file for removal.
Okay.
But
Your Honor, I would not be opposed to staffing this and with Mr. Davis and Mr. Schultze providing guidance to the grandparents. And, again, we don't want to be in this situation. So if having a staffing to discuss and options and guiding the grandparents, if that's necessary, I would not be opposed.
And Judge, I guess you kind of answered my question. I mean, unless something could actually be accomplished, an agreement or something to that effect, even if we agree, there's nothing that can be done. So I'm not sure how productive that could be. I could assist the grandparents when I talk to them, and I do talk to them about what's necessary. I mean, they're very well aware of what would probably have to happen on their end. But even if we come to an agreement with Mr. Schultze's client, I'm not sure if the court can't do anything. Then I'm not sure why we would even, have it. So.
okay, so at this time, the court will continue this case open at this point. The court does find that Ms. Paige DeLong, Adrian's mother, is not in compliance with her court-ordered plan of service or her court-ordered services. Family team meeting is ordered, and we will come back for a review on February 13th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. Our current dismissal date for this court-ordered services case is April 16th, 2025.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. You may be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
I apologize, Your Honor. I wasn't trying to be mean.
Well, okay, we're going to do our 10 o'clock case.